Hey, welcome back to Piece of Chaos. After a bit of a break, as you see in the title, this one is going to be. I don't know what this one's going to be, but what started off as an explanation for why I took a month off turned into something that I thought maybe it would be interesting to talk about, because I don't quite know how to process it yet. And I'm grateful and thankful that this hasn't happened to me too much in my life, but I do get the sense that the older I get, the more often it's going to happen. So, in April, my very close friend passed away after about 18-month battle with cancer, and it was cancer everywhere. Eventually, started as colon cancer, but quickly became brain and bone and lung cancer. And it was horrific to watch. It was painful to watch as she tried absolutely everything they could possibly think of to throw at this cancer. Chemo, immunotherapy, experimental therapies, radiation, everything. Nothing worked. And that's not to say that it doesn't work. It's just, for her, none of it worked. And her last 18 months were spent either in agony from cancer pain, from tumor pain, agony from side effects from chemo and radiation, or the drugs that she was taking to counteract the chemo. She basically didn't have a comfortable moment in that time, from what I could gather. Maybe a day or two here and there where she was feeling good. She was also very much compromised mentally from the painkillers and things that she was on to counteract the therapy. So she was just never quite the same. And then passed away. I've not lost a friend like this, a person this close to me in my life, and that's pretty amazing. That's a pretty good run, I guess. Had, classmates, friends, people I know, but not people that are like daily in my life. Close friends, people I vacation with, or, shared hotels with, that kind of friend. Confidant, just amazing person. And what's really interesting and a lot to handle is that, she was not only a close family friend, but so was her daughter, who, for various life reasons, she had sole custody of her, and those two were a team. And I've known her daughter since she was born, the day she was born. I was in the hospital when she was born, much like my friend was in the hospital when my kids were born. And I find myself in the very familiar yet unfamiliar position of serving as a parent or at least a guide for a young person. I find myself feeling somewhat responsible for that young person who now is for all intents and purposes on her own. And it can be crushing at times. It can also be exhilarating to feel that I can help. I do want to bring value and, I want her to have a great life. Her mom would have wanted her to have a great life. One of the things about that is that just like almost everything else in life, you don't have a guide. You don't have instructions. You don't have, there's different rules. There's your upbringing. There's different, creeds that people have, religions, whatever structures that people have, they bring to the table in terms of a parenting guide. But, there's nothing definitive. There's what you've learned. There's what you've realized is true. That's the other one, which is very interesting, is when you hear a cliche, it doesn't really resonate until you really understand and experience the cliche to realize that it's true. But it's this crazy idea that words have an impact. If you can have the right discussions with people at the right time in their life, you can help them. You can also throw them way off. You could lead them down a path they never would have gone down before. You can spark an idea. And it's one thing to have those types of conversations with adults. It's another to have them with children and people who are at the beginning of this journey. Much like, the idea that if you steer a gigantic ship 1 degree in either direction, the longer it travels, the further apart it gets from its original destination. So these little incremental changes, these little incremental ideas or seeds of ideas can have a lasting impact, and that is a lot of pressure. It's one thing to sort of have your own kid, and then you have, 9 months to get used to the idea that you're going to take that on. It's another to have it thrust upon you sort of late in the game. And I want to ask my friend so many questions about what I should do and how she would want me to guide her daughter. I'm doing the best I can, but it's like extra pressure. Not only am I hoping to do the best I can by my own standard, but also hope to honor the memory of my friend and do right by her, make her proud, I guess. But because she was in such a state for so long, we didn't ever get to have that conversation. We didn't ever get to have a very pointed, targeted conversation about the future beyond the next treatment, the next hope, the next thing that might work. I don't think she could think that way. I don't think she could wrap her head around not being there or making contingency plans. Maybe some people can, but I don't know if she was just so full of hope that it would work out and she didn't have to worry about it, or so out of it that she couldn't think straight to have those conversations, or she was afraid of those conversations, or I don't know. And I'll never know. I'll never know what she thought about this. But I do know that for me, for my family, for my future, this is a very big undertaking that I am honored to take on, but also scared to death that I'll mess it up. So I'm doing the best I can to try to get through this, and it's crazy. So to anyone who's lost a close friend, my heart goes out, because this is hard. This is very, very difficult. I joke a lot that I'm old, but I'm not that old, and especially a good friend of mine back when I first started comedy, Daryl LaMantra, had a joke that was like, when you hit your 40s, you're not old, but you're what was it? It was like you're too young to die until a certain age. Oh man, I'm messing up his bit. It was a good bit. I don't think it was 40s. It might have been 50s. When you hit your 50s, you're still too young to die, but you're not surprised. Something like that. I don't remember. I messed up the joke. But I'm at a weird age. Like, you hear somebody in their 50s passes away, you're like, okay, that seems a little young. And now, especially with modern medicine and things like that, I mean, you have 70-year-olds that, are doing well. I'm not saying that 70 and 80-year-olds should be the president, for example, but, you can still do things you love and participate. I think the key is just to keep moving, but and surviving that long. But yeah, I mean, to have made it this long in my life without really losing too many people close to me, I feel very lucky for that. But it also means I'm not adequately prepared for these waves of grief. And it's very different than relatives. I mean, I was very close with my grandparents, and they passed away a number of years ago, and I still think about them all the time. I still get waves of grief with them. But this one hits a little different. And, it's that Stoic philosophy of, like, you should kind of think about death every day, but not like in a morbid way. Just know that it's a possibility so that you live your life more to the fullest each day, because tomorrow's not guaranteed, right? This is ancient wisdom. This is cliche. This is philosophy. Of course, we never know what could happen next and when we'll have the last conversation, the last interaction. You never know. But that philosophy really helped me during the time when Stacy was sick, because every time I did see her, especially towards the end, I would sort of remind myself that this might be the last time I see them. And that is very helpful in being present in the moment when you're with the person and seeing them clearly, seeing them and taking in that experience, that very much helps, that meditation on death. But once they're gone, at least in my experience so far, it's not so much a comfort as a reminder that it's closer than you want to think, that it's possible already, even though, I might feel 23 in my mind. I am not. And, the time we have is so precious. So I'm just still reeling from all that. And so that's why I took July off, because July was full of activity around the passing of my friend, getting her daughter squared away for taking on the rest of her life as best we can. And I just didn't feel ready to talk about anything. So I'm back now, processing it, and thank you to everybody who reached out and continues to download and listen and give me feedback on the podcast. I really appreciate it. It is something that I love, and I love to do. So, I think we'll have some really cool guests coming up in the next couple months. There's going to be a little bit more music talk coming up as things have been heating up with the band, with the Temple of the Dads of late. Got a lot of summer shows that we've been playing. We played an outdoor, unplugged show that was really fun, really good. We played at the famous Rock and Roll Pizza out here in a town called Simi Valley. And the reason it's famous, it's a bowling alley with a club in it, which is fairly common out here, oddly enough. There's bowling alleys with bars inside that have really good music venues. It's a pretty good combo, if I'm being honest. Bowling, beer, loud rock. But anyway, we played at this Rock and Roll Pizza place, and it's famous because the Foo Fighters play there often. They've come in there and played before they head out on tour. I guess it's fairly close to the studio that Dave Grohl has out in the valley. It's a good sounding room. It's super fun. It's super silly. So we got to play there, and it was great. It was really great. It was really fun. And so that is going well. And, what's really strange is because my singer, Jacob Givens, is sort of TikTok famous. He has TikTok famous friends and influencers and all this stuff, and they're starting to come to the shows and take videos of the band and post them. So there's these little viral spikes of the band and stuff like that, which is really interesting and really fun to watch. But it's opening up some doors to maybe have some cool music conversations as well. And I think next time I'll talk to you about my unbelievable discovery of mastery and taking some things in a different direction in terms of my playing the drums and what I'm thinking about for comedy. So, so a lot going on. Again, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for tuning into Piece of Chaos. Thanks for hearing me out about my friend. And I think it's a terrible, terrible thing that she's gone. But I'm going to do my best to do her proud and make sure she knows that her daughter is loved and taken care of, and her spirit, her kindness, her essence is always around. I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe in sort of the oneness of the universe, and I feel like on some level she's out there, around here, everywhere, taking it all in, and hopefully I'm making her proud. So thank you for listening to Piece of Chaos. I hope you have an amazing week, amazing month. hope you had an amazing summer so far. And yeah, thank you. Thanks for listening. Take care.
Yes, I've got you under my skin. I've tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair ain't never gonna go too well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything come what might for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that rings in the nights, repeats and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you ain't never gonna win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin.